Hello, I am Choco, and welcome back to another One Piece video. Today we're going over the girls of One Piece and their designs. It's a topic that has been talked about at length, so I won't be wasting too much time here. You know of course that there are great female character designs, not so great designs, and some very similar girls. So let's diversify them a bit and try to improve on the not so good ones. Nami, Robin, Hancock and Bonnie aren't included today since I've already redesigned them in previous videos. So if you want to see them, go check out these videos. Here we'll be going over 8 different characters, plus some of the Egghead outfits. So let's start right away with the one who is in dire need of a new outfit. Okay, come on Rebecca, we're giving you a makeover girl. I don't think it's controversial to say that she has one of the worst designs in all of One Piece. Her gladiator armor is already pretty ugly on its own, but adding the fact that she's 16 years old and she dresses like that. Ugly, disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200. And yeah, sure, there's the headcanon that the Flamingo forced her to wear that to humiliate her. But it's just a headcanon. And canon we still walk into the quote-unquote dressing room of the Colosseum, so it looks like she could wear something else if she wanted, so yeah. What baffles me the most is that male gladiators wear skirts. But Oda didn't think to simply give a skirt to the 16-year-old girl. It just made sense to give her a gladiator skirt instead of that awful loincloth. It's possible to show a design that still shows a lot of skin and isn't overly sexualized and gross, but anyway. For a chest, I completely changed her awful bikini top to some armor. I don't think it's the best, especially since I'm far from the best at drawing armor, but it does the job. And again, it covers her chest, but still has her tummy exposed. Still design can have skin showing and not be sexualized. I also added a shoulder pad and changed her glove for armor as well. I changed the boots slightly, but I might prefer the original ones to be honest. Also in general, the way I shaded the gold looked kinda weird. I redid it once, but didn't want to waste too much time on it, so I kept it as is. Usually I feel like the gold I draw looks fairly decent, so I'm not sure what happened here. But moving on, I also gave her some scars. I know she's the undefeated warrior, and she's supposed to never have been injured during her fights, but I think it's a bit more interesting if she did get hurt from time to time. Especially during her earlier fights. She can still keep the undefeated title. She's never been beaten, but she did get injured from time to time. And also she has muscles now. I think it would make sense if she got muscular after basically fighting every day for her life. Even though her dress looks pretty good, I decided to redesign that outfit as well. Compared to the gladiator outfit, it is an incredible step up, but I still don't like it that much. I think it looks a bit awkward. I'm not a huge fan of the ruffles on the original dress, especially those in the middle, they look kinda weird. I think the dress doesn't fit her that well either. The little sleeves look weird and all around the dress is really tight. Yes, typical for One Piece design, I know. And of course, did she really need such a deep neckline? She's had enough in the Colosseum, come on. So I made the dress off the shoulders, removed the middle ruffles, and kept the 3 layers on the bottom, but made them more flowy. I also kept the color of the dress, since it represents the sunflowers of Dressrosa, and gave her a green bracelet that Leo made for her. Her hair stays the same for both designs, I just added some flowers for the second one. I also gave her some freckles, I just thought it was cute. I gave her the same skin tone as her dad, that's something that really bothers me in One Piece. A lot of girls have fathers with a darker skin tone, but the girls stay completely white. Sure, a child is not a 50-50 mix of their parents, but in One Piece, and most anime honestly, girls just look like a carbon copy of their mom. So yeah, now Rebecca has a slightly darker skin, besides Dressrosa is a sunny country, so it's not of nowhere either. Talking about her dad, I know a lot of people that gotten annoyed when the anime showed Rebecca's backstory like 50 times, but I still find her backstory and her relationship with her dad so well done. Rebecca is easily my favorite princess. I'm a bit biased since Dressrosa is also my favorite arc, but I don't know. Even with her awful outfit, I really liked Rebecca, as well as her friendship with Luffy, or Lucy if she were to call him. It's really sweet. Okay, that's it for Rebecca. She's the only one who gets 2 redesigned outfits, by the way. I just thought she needed some more love. Let's keep going with the princesses and do the mermaid princess now. I really like Shirahoshi too. She's so cute, and once again her friendship with Luffy is also super cute. even though it was a big joke towards her at first. Overall, I do like her design. My one problem is how focused, I guess, they are on her boobs. I watched the anime, so I'm not sure if it's the same in the manga, but I feel like every frame is made so you focus on the chest first, which would already suck for any female characters. But this is, once again, a 16 years old. Oda, stop giving 16 years old girls revealing clothes challenge. I get that she's a mermaid, and you know, Ariel, who is a Disney princess, wears just as much or as little, but she has a flat chest and is never sexualized. But for Shirahoshi, she purposefully has big boobs so they would barely fit in her little top, which obviously is pretty gross. I like the shirt she wears later on, but since it's fully open it doesn't fix the problem at all. For my design, she wears a little top that still shows a lot of skin, but actually covers her chest. I added little sleeves and some sort of fingerless gloves, if you can call them that, to go with her top, as well as a ton of beads to go with the waist chain she already has in her original design. I struggled a lot with her top. I wanted to try other looks for her, but the fabric that goes from her top and wraps behind her head felt too important to remove, so I couldn't change the top too much without it looking weird with that part of her design. I added more fish parts to her. That's something I like to do whenever I draw mermaids. So she has fin ears with the same color as her tails, as well as 2 fins done on her hips. Along with the bead chains, I gave her a cloth wrapping around the side of her hips. Originally she had some sort of loincloth at her front, but I thought it was cuter on the side, wrapping around the back. For hair, I made it all around fuller, that way she can hide in it, since she's so shy. I had a lot of fun drawing her face. I really wanted to give her big droopy eyes. It's cute and that way she gets to look different from the other girls. Her big sad eyes reminded me of Fluttershy from My Little Pony. And I clocked at the same time that they share the same color palette. Pastel pink and yellow, and a greenish blue for their eyes. Their personalities are really similar. It's cute that they also have the same colors. Anyway, that's Shirahoshi pretty much done. She's definitely one of my favorite designs from this video. I hope you like her as much as I do. Let's finish off the trio of princesses with Vivi. For my design, I did sort of a mix of her pre-time skip and post-time skip dresses. Her first one looks pretty good in my opinion. Her second is a bit bland, but I like the pink. For Vivi, I tried my best to be careful in my research for her clothing. My fear was to fall in Orientalism, which is the way that the East is stereotyped by the West and often sexualized when it comes to women. I'm not sure if her first outfit would count as Orientalist. It definitely wouldn't be the worst case I've seen, but it's also not my place to speak. Anyway, I tried my best not to fall into that trap and researched Egyptian clothing to put her in. As you can see, I've also darkened her skin. Her father has darker skin, and she's the princess of an Egyptian-inspired country. Plus the actress playing her in the live action also has darker skin. So I better not see anyone complaining about this in the comments. Okay, let's actually talk about the redesign now. I gave her a bunch of golden accessories, a long white dress which gets bluer at the end. I think it's a bit harder to see in the final illustration, but I wanted the blue to represent her longing to go adventuring at sea. That way a little part of it is always with her. I added a long pink shawl over the dress to add interest without overcomplicating the design. The pink is more salmon, I think it goes better with her palette. I'm not a huge fan of the pink they chose for her dress post-time skip, it clashed a bit with her blue hair. Talking about her hair, it's definitely my favorite part of the redesign. I found this gorgeous picture on Pinterest, and immediately knew I had to give that haircut to Vivi. It adds so much volume to her hair. It let me add a bunch of gold to her hair, and it gives her such a unique haircut. I hope I did my reference picture justice, and that you like it as much as I do. To be honest, I have less to say about Vivi than the rest. Don't get me wrong, I like her, but I feel like I don't like her as much as I should be. I'm not as ride or die for Vivi as I know a lot of people are, and I'm not sure why. I guess I didn't find her that compelling during Alabasta. Once again, I don't dislike her at all, but I wish I loved her as much as a bunch of people do. I'll definitely read through all of the manga one of these days, so maybe then I'll like Vivi way more than the first time. In the meantime, if I have some big Vivi fans watching, please go wild in the comments and tell me what makes you like her so much. This one is, I guess, a deeper take, but I wanted to tackle Bello Betty's design. In case you don't know her or forgot about her, she's one of the commander of the Revolutionary Army, and with her devil fruit power she can wave her flag and motivate people. Even though she's not one of the most important girls in One Piece, I've been thinking of giving her a redesign since the first time I saw her. Her outfit is so bad. Her open coat with her boobs is already pretty bad, but honestly at some point it becomes funny. A tie with no shirt is kind of hilarious. But the worst part for me is her ugly ass skirt with those socks and extremely red boots. I think all around I just really dislike her color palette, so I reworked it in a way that's more pleasing to me. Let's start talking about the colors then. First I gave her a less saturated red that comes closer to a pink, and goes better with her hair. Her hair is a lighter purple, since I wasn't a fan either of that dark purple, and also goes better with the skin tone I gave her. I decided to go for a slightly darker skin tone, mostly to add a bit more diversity, but I also thought it complements the rest of her palette more. Plus, Toei decided to whitewash another member of the Revolutionaries, so whatever, don't complain. Anyway, for her overall outfit, I tried to go in a clearer steampunk aesthetic, since most of the Revolutionaries tend to lean steampunk. So I added a brown corset, long fingerless gloves and boots that go with those. I added an actual shirt with little poof sleeves, but I kept a low neckline and of course kept the red tie. I kept the hat but changed the goggles to some white fabric that wraps into a long bow at the back, to replace the original feather poofs she has. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I think I forgot what the horns on her hat looked like when I was doing the final illustration, because I would have kept the twirly horns she has originally, but I guess the ones I drew are fine. The socks stay more or less the same, but her skirt looks more like a steampunk/Victorian inspired dress, with the front pulled up. I think it's way more pleasing to look at than that original skirt, which looks like some sort of random Party City costume. But anyway, even though she's not the most popular character, and she's definitely the redesign that strays the most from her original design, I hope you still like it. Carrot! I love her so much, she's my main pick for the Should Have Been a Straw Hat Club. Her design is very cute. My problem with it is her main outfit is so skin tight. It's weird for her 15 years old. And let's not talk about her Onigashima disguise, that weird ass shot Toei decided on in the Brachio tank. It's so bad, please someone save my girl. Anyway, for her design at first I was gonna keep her in a dress or skirt, just let it be a bit looser, but then I saw a super cute redesign of her in poofy shorts. I was definitely inspired by that redesign, but I can't find it anymore. I saw it on Twitter, but no idea who the artist is. If you ever see a carrot redesign similar to mine, that's probably the artist I was inspired by. So anyway, with her little shorts, I wanted her outfit to lean more in a forest ranger direction. Also, OMG, I just noticed as I'm writing this that I totally forgot her tail. I'm gonna fix that in the final version. But to go with her shorts, she now has an orange shirt, and her capelet doesn't change. She also has leg covers. I don't really know what they're called, but I like giving them to M-tier characters. That way she has protection on her legs and feet that doesn't get in the way of her rabbit feet. The covers have green laces that go with the laces on her glove. Other than that, she stays the same. I just wanted to tweak her clothing to go better with her fighting style, and will let her jump all over the place. I didn't draw her Sulong form, but I don't think it changed that much. I think it's a really pretty design, but I do find it a bit weird how her Sulong form is portrayed as sexy. And you know, once again, she's a 15 years old girl. If I were to design it, I think I'd go more in a cool direction, with more of a menacing beauty to it. Maybe focus more on the beast aspect of the form, like the guys get. Okay, now that I'm done with her design, I want to complain a bit about her not becoming a Straw Hat. So heavy spoilers for Whole Cake Island and Wano. If you haven't watched those arcs, feel free to skip to the next character. So I feel like Carrot was supposed to be a Straw Hat. In Whole Cake she acts so natural next to the other Straw Hats, as if she already was a member. Then she gets her tragic backstory, but in the present she sees Pedro die in front of her. And what promise does she make to him? To help the Straw Hats achieve their goals, to help Luffy become king of the pirates. So it would make sense for her to stay with them, right? She then goes with them to Wano. And there's this scene when the Straw Hats arrive at Onigashima that makes her look like a real Straw Hat, and it made me lose my mind. The Straw Hats welcome Jinbei as their new member, cheering for him when he arrives, and this scene has the entirety of the Straw Hats, and Carrot. Watching this scene without context, it looks like Carrot was already a member of the Straw Hats. But then, during the Onigashima fight, that's when I feel she was heavily sidelined. Sure, there was a lot going on, but she's so unimportant it hurts. And don't let me start another fight against Spero. Oh my god, that made me so mad. After the fight, the reason she stays on Zou is because she takes the place of Neko and Inu and becomes the ruler of the Minks. Her, a 15 years old girl, who only dreamt of adventuring at sea and made a promise to her best friend to help the Straw Hats. Couldn't Wanda become the ruler instead? I don't know how other people feel about the decision, but I feel like it was a last-minute change that Oda made. It just feels so out of place for a character arc. For Yamato it makes sense that he would want to actually learn and travel across Wano before leaving with the Straw Hats, but it makes no sense for Carrot to be stuck on Zou. Okay, sorry for my yapping. I will stop complaining and move on to the next character. But you know what? Before we go look at the next redesign, let's do a rapid fire run of the Egghead girls. First, Nami. I gave her a little futuristic looking dress that pans straight out. I think it's super cute and it's also a little nod to the skirts she wore pre-time skip. For Robin, I just gave her pants instead. I think it fits her way better. I also changed the color of the top of her boots to the socks she normally has. Bonnie has little shorts. I really don't want to see her 12 years old in panties. And I added knee pads since her outfit was supposed to be combat gear. My main problem with Stussie's outfit was the colors she wore all over the place, so I changed them to just pink and blue. I also gave her a dress and tights that look like her CP0 outfit. And lastly, York. I think she has such a great design, I just wish she wasn't in panties, so I just gave her lounging shorts. I also made her a bit chubbier, since it fits her and I think it's cute. I didn't do Lilith and Atlas. For Lilith, I think her design is fine, but I do think her pink suit is a bit boring. Love her jacket though. And Atlas is a perfect design, she's so cute. Okay, Egghead fire round over, back to the other girls. Let's go over the Ghost Princess. I haven't got a problem with her design, to be honest. I even think her pre-time skip look is one of the best design out of all of the One Piece girls. And her post-time skip to me is not as good, but still a solid design. But I thought it might be fun to play around with her design, and you guys requested it, so let's do it. I decided to do a mix of her two designs. I kept her twin tails. Her post-time skip hair is very pretty, but I think the twin tails are more iconic. I kept the front pieces of her hair from her post-time skip design. I also kept the crown she had pre-time skip. I like it much more than her big hat, though I like her hat's colors matches with Mihawk. For her overall outfit, I wanted to go with a big dress like post-time skip, but keep the red she had pre-time skip. I decided on a red dress with no sleeves, that poofs out at the end with a black corset. The boots stay the same. I think they're also too iconic, but I gave her black stockings. The black and white striped ties she has pre-time skip get turned into long arm warmers. And she also gets a choker with the same cross Moria wears. For her makeup, she has classic goth white face paint, and a long eyeliner that goes to the side of her nose. I decided on pink makeup, but I'm not 100% sure now that I'm looking at the final illustration. It's a bit hard to see. I like drawing her lips in her heart shape though. Overall, she's not my favorite redesign, but that's probably because I like the original so much, but it's still cute. I was still glad to do her, since I like Perona so much. She's popular for a reason. I think she's such a charming character, from her design to her personality. She's such a highlight from Thriller Bark. Her fight with Usopp is so much fun. Her powers are so clever, even when they don't make much sense. And seeing her fly around in the anime is so nice. Also, let's not forget that we get introduced to Kuma's powers through our interaction with him, which leads to the iconic scene at the end of Thriller Bark, and the Straw Hats getting separated in Sabondi. And Zoro staying at Mihawk's castle would not be as much fun if Perona wasn't around. Her relationship with them both is so cute. Okay, with my Perona propaganda over, let's go to the next character. Now for Reiju. I wasn't sure about doing her in this video, since I was thinking of doing one on all of Germa 66, but I'm not sure if it would be that interesting, so we're going over her now. The main things I wanted to change were her boob window, or neckline, or whatever you want to call this, as well as her very short skirt, and to tweak her color palette a bit. So I gave her what I'm pretty sure is a sweetheart neckline, and the same sleeves with a visible cut to them. She still has a cutout in her dress, but it shows a purple bodysuit underneath. I kept some kind of boob swirls though, and to be honest, it does fit her mauve theming, but it's also just funny. For her skirt, I shaped it vaguely like mauve wings, so they blend into her cape. I didn't really change her cape, just the ends of it. Other than that, her cape is by far my favorite part of the original design, so I had to keep it looking mostly the same. Her gloves and boots stay mostly the same as well. I just included more of that round muff motif, and altered the colors a bit. I also added some knee pads, just to add some interest to her legs. I thought they looked a bit bare. I brought some more purple in her design to tie it nicely together, especially for her bandana. I also thought that blue was a bit weird and out of place in her color palette. And lastly, her headphones have antennas. I also shaped her eyelashes like little antennas. I think it's super cute. I was thinking of changing her 66s, since her brothers have it underclosed, but for her it's a tattoo on her legs. I don't know, I find it a bit weird, but I couldn't find somewhere else to fit nicely, so whatever, it can stay there. She's not my favorite of these redesigns either, but I think she's still cute. I definitely lean in more in the magical girl direction, but I guess it's fitting for the only nice person in Germa 66. By the way, slight spoilers for the end of Whole Cake, just in case. But am I the only one who was sad that Reiju stays with the Windsmokes? I guess there's the whole thing about not being able to disobey her father. But still, she clearly hates being there, and she's so sweet with Sanji. I'm not saying she should have been a Straw Hat, of course, but couldn't she leave Whole Cake with them and go somewhere else after everything was over? I hope she gets some sort of happy ending by the end of One Piece. She really deserves better. But that's it for Reiju. Let's move on to the final character for today. Last but very much not least, Uta. Spoiler warning for One Piece Red if you haven't seen the movie yet. I didn't think about doing her at first since I really like her design, but looking at her more closely, I think her dress is pretty boring. Especially for an idol, she should have a more unique outfit. I adore her hair though, so I didn't change that at all. I think it's so goofy but looks great. I love the hair loops that swoop down when she's sad. It also looks like Pearl from Ace Attorney, so that's a bonus point from me. Her headphones don't change either. I think they look good, and also not sure if it's me looking too deep in the design, but they look like two little straw hats, just like the logo on her hand. So if that's done on purpose, it's super cute. I didn't draw her big coat. I think it looks so good, so it doesn't need to change. And she also wears it for like 5 minutes, so I didn't bother with it. Moving on to the changes, the main one of course is her dress. I made her bow bigger, and at the center there's a skull, even though it's hard to see, that hints at Tot Musica, the demon she summons by the end of the movie. I gave her little sleeves that vaguely look like little wings, to go with the wings she has in the movie. And I also gave her cute little floating wings as a nod to that. My favorite part is her piano skirt. I based it off a picture I saw on Pinterest, but it's perfect for her, both because she's a musician of course, as another reference to Tot Musica's design. I think it looks so cute. I made it a looser, flowier skirt, which I like much better than the pretty straight dress she has. But being piano keys, I can keep the skirt black and white to not have too many colors in her design. I made the blue sleeve she has much baggier, I think it's cuter, and gave her one matching stocking. I like the asymmetry it brings to the outfit, and make that blue sleeve feels less out of place in her outfit. I messed around with her shoes as well. I've always found it weird that her shoes look so much like the ones Germa 66 wore, so I tried to make it look more like some kind of futuristic fashion and distinguish them a bit more from the Germa. I added little wings to the side of them to keep the wings pattern, and also the wings act as an angel teaming, since she sees herself as some kind of messiah who will bring happiness to her followers. I wanted to add more angel motifs to her outfit, but in the end I didn't because I didn't want to make the outfit too cluttered. I'm so happy with how she turned out. She's definitely my favorite of these redesigns alongside Shirahoshi, which I'm really happy about since I love Uta and One Piece Red is my favorite One Piece movie, with Baron Omatsuri second and Gold third, if you wanted to know. But yeah, Red is easily my favorite, just for the fact that Ado is Uta's singing voice, and her songs are of course so incredible. I was avoiding the One Piece Red soundtrack until I saw the movie, just so I could experience the songs in their context, and I was so not disappointed. I listen to them all the time now. But even besides that, I really loved the story, and I thought Uta was really well written. Also, seeing Bartolomeo being in a semi-important role was great. But that's all for Uta. I hope you like her redesign as much as I do, and feel free to tell me your thoughts on the movie as well. I'd love to hear it. And that's all the redesigns I have for today. I've been looking forward to doing this one, and I think they're my favorite designs out of all the ones I've done so far. Girls are always more fun to design for me, mostly because they have way more clothes to put them in. I always struggle to make the man's outfit original, but girls have all types of cute skirts and dresses to put them in. And I think I let myself be a bit more loose in these designs, and just do whatever I wanted with them. I'm hoping some of these changes don't get me angry comments though. But whatever you thought of these designs, I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments, and if you have any video ideas you'd like to see me do. As usual, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like more art and want to support me, my commissions are open. I also have a Ko-fi where you can support me and get some cheaper commissions. Links for both are down in the description, as well as links to my socials if you want to follow me and see some more of my art. That's it for today. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye bye!